What's going on, guys? I'm the Filmmaker and I love movies, and well, happy Star Wars Day, everyone! Yes, of course, today is May the 4th, and happy Star Wars Day. I'm sure many of you will be watching Star Wars films, celebrating and whatnot, and I'm glad you clicked on this video because today we're going to be celebrating Star Wars Day on the Filmmaker channel. In fact, on Wednesday, I'm going to be doing a Star Wars quiz. We're going to be having a big discussion about Star Wars, but in this video, I'm going to be doing something very special. I'm going to be ranking all my Star Wars films from least favourite to favourite, but it's not just going to be me today. I'm going to be doing a collaboration with my good friend Blu View. If you haven't checked out his channel, it's very good. He does Blu-ray things. It's more Blu-ray centered. He does lots of awesome, very cool unboxings. So the link to his channel is in the description, as well as all of his social medias and whatnot. And in this video, we're going to be kind of cross-cutting between me and him, and my favourites and his favourites, and we'll see where it leads us. I hope you enjoy this video. It's something a bit different, and I just hope you all enjoy it.
Guys, this is Blu View back here with another video, and today we've got a very special video. I'm actually going to be doing a video with the Filmmaker. So yeah, it is Star Wars Day, May the 4th. Be with you everyone, hope you have a great day, maybe watching your favourite Star Wars movie, if that is The Rise of Skywalker, if that is The Last Jedi, if that is Empire Strikes Back, whatever. I hope you really enjoy it. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into mine and the Filmmaker's Star Wars ranking.
Without further ado, let's get on to the Star Wars rankings. Coming in at number 11, my least favourite Star Wars movie, and definitely the worst Star Wars movie in my opinion, is The Rise of Skywalker, the latest Star Wars film. I covered it extensively when it first came out because I was so angry about how bad the film was. Every time I think about it, I just think how bad it was and how it ruined everything. And I don't really want to say much about it because I really get angry when I talk about this film, but I just want to highlight a few points. It's very messy, it's jumpy, it's ridiculous, it's just got flaws right, left and centre, and I don't really feel comfortable talking about this film because I've already done a review on it, and that was quite a long review, and I got quite angry. So, moving on.
Coming at number 11, we do have Attack of the Clones. Now, I know this was my second least favourite Star Wars film, but I rewatched the prequels, as I've already said, and this movie really isn't very good at all, and it's probably one of the few Star Wars films that I'd say I actually dislike. I think there's really hardly anything to like in this one. I mean, I guess the third act was kind of cool, but the whole romance thing was very cringy. I thought Hayden Christensen as Anakin was very plastic in this movie, but he wasn't in Revenge of the Sith. But yeah, it's not a very good film at all. You have some good scenes. I mean, Jango Fett was really cool. He was underutilized. You hardly see anything of Count Dooku. I thought basically everything else was absurd. I remember as a kid, I used to really enjoy the droid factory scene. Rewatching it, it looked terrible, and it just didn't work at all. This film honestly doesn't feel like Star Wars. I feel like the Phantom Menace and Revenge of the Sith do. This one just doesn't, hence why it's coming at number 11. So yeah, let's go and check out the Filmmaker's number 11.
To number 10, which is Solo: A Star Wars Story, probably the most dull Star Wars movie I've seen. It's very mediocre. They try and set up some kind of sequel, which I would be interested in. I think Donald Glover does a great job as Lando, but I just think it's really dull and not that great. The colour grading is not good. It's not my Star Wars movie. I know some people liked it. I thought I liked it when I first watched it, but I don't anymore.
Number 10, we do have the finale to the Skywalker saga. Last year's The Rise of Skywalker. Now, if you didn't watch my Star Wars ranking video, my previous one, you probably think I really like this movie, since in my review I gave it like an 80 out of 100. I don't know what I was doing. I must have been drugged or something, since this film, upon rewatch, I've rewatched it twice. This film does not cut it. It is honestly quite shambolic. Now, do I enjoy it? Kind of. I kind of enjoy the movie. It's fan service. I do enjoy some of the fan service. I can't deny that. But from a filmmaking perspective, it's lazy. It cuts corners. It's so rushed from, the first scene to the last scene. I was just like, who's that? What's he doing? What's she doing? It just doesn't work at all. So many decisions in this movie by J.J. Abrams and by the team behind the film were terrible. And I know a lot of people justify Palpatine coming back saying he's a clone, whatever. That just shows how bad the film is, because Empire Strikes Back, Rogue One, all the best Star Wars films, they don't need justifications. Everything in the film works. this movie needs so many justifications because it just doesn't work as a film. It's not good. Terrible end to the Skywalker saga, and honestly, if this movie was erased from the Star Wars saga, I'd be more than happy.
Now at number 9, we've got Attack of the Clones, of course, the infamous prequels that many people despise. And the prequels have got lots of good in them. I think people just don't want to talk about the good because even though Attack of the Clones is my least favourite prequel, I mean, the third act is awesome with Count Dooku and the Gungans and all that. But the romance here is cringy, the dialogue is flat, and this definitely is a big disappointment. Of course, there's less Jar Jar in this film, but that leads me on.
Number 9, we do have Rian Johnson's The Last Jedi. Now, I do kind of dislike Attack of the Clones and The Rise of Skywalker, but I don't dislike The Last Jedi. In fact, I do respect it, and I respect Rian Johnson for what he was trying to do. Did all of it work? Not at all. So many things in the movie bugged me. Luke Skywalker was so disappointing. Did not feel like Luke Skywalker at all. I thought many of the characters were killed off way too quickly. I think everyone knows who I'm talking about. Yeah, the film doesn't work, but with a lot of things it does work. I think it's honestly the best looking Star Wars films. You know, for example, Crate. That scene was absolutely beautiful, but then you've got scenes like the Holdo scene, the Princess Leia scene when she's like floating in space. Does not cut it for me, and I have watched many videos, outlining how the choreography in this movie just doesn't work. For example, the throne room scene. Can't remember who made the video, but it was basically saying how those guards were just terrible, and they could have easily killed both Rey and Kylo Ren. Yeah, the film doesn't work, but I also do applaud Rian Johnson for what he was trying to do. Is it terrible? No. Is it great? No. It's just in between. It's a good film. I enjoy it at the cinema, and will rewatch it. I do appreciate the movie. I don't like everything in it, but it's still certainly a very, very, very decent film.
To number 8, which is, of course, The Phantom Menace, because even though Jar Jar is in this movie a lot, I love Qui-Gon Jinn, and I think Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi is great. The third act is fantastic. I mean, Duel of the Fates. Come on, you've got to love that sequence, that whole thing. I think there's like 4 different action things going on in that third act. You've got Anakin up in the getting the Galactic Trade Federation. You've got Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Maul. Then you've got Padme going through there, and then I think there's another one as well. But the third act for this movie really helps the film, and of course the awesome pod racing. I just have a soft spot for Phantom Menace because it is actually the first Star Wars movie I watched. I was lucky enough to be exposed to Star Wars at a young age, so I can kind of say that I grew up with the films because I watched them when I was young because we got the box set and I just couldn't stop watching them.
At number 7, we do have The Phantom Menace. Now this is one of those movies that I've watched about 5 times as a kid, and I didn't watch it for 5 years, and I remember just really not liking it, finding it boring. And then I watched it again with my dad since he was watching the prequels for the first time, and me and my dad both really, really, really enjoyed it. It's not the perfect movie, just like The Last Jedi, but it has so many great scenes. For example, the pod racing scene, that's really, really, really good. Also, the Darth Maul scene is one of the best scenes in Star Wars, period. Duel of the Fates is one of the best pieces of music written ever too. Apart from that, the soundtrack isn't that great. Yeah, I love Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon Jinn. I loved Qui-Gon Jinn as a character. Ewan McGregor in this movie honestly gave his worst performance as Obi-Wan. I think he was better both in Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, but he was still okay. The film doesn't do everything right. I think, Jar Jar Binks was a huge mistake as a character. It can be a tad boring at times, and all the political stuff can get a bit boring. But at the same time, it's really, really, really enjoyable. Darth Maul is easily one of the best Siths ever. So yeah, really, really, really enjoyable film. And so happy I watched it again since I liked it so much more than I did the previous time I watched it.
Number 7 is The Force Awakens. Now, JJ does a great job directing this movie. It's nice, the camera's always moving, the energy's always high, but you can't go away from the average criticisms of the movie. Yes, it's a rehash of A New Hope. Yes, Rey is a Mary Sue, which gets very annoying in this movie. But you've got, of course, Han Solo, Harrison Ford, he's great in the movie. And it's very high energy, and it's not... I think everyone kind of agrees that this is actually a pretty good film in the sequel trilogy, because of course The Last Jedi is very diversive, so is Rise of Skywalker. Some people love the film, others, like myself, hate it. But this movie isn't that diversive. It's really kind of liked with the Star Wars community.
Number 7, we do have Solo: A Star Wars Story. Now, Solo: A Star Wars Story was a weird one. I remember the first time I watched it, I thought it was really good. Second time, I didn't like it as much. Third time, I liked it much more again. The film does work for me. I think the way they introduced Chewbacca, I've already said this, but I will say it again because it was such a great scene. The way they introduced Chewbacca was honestly perfect. Really like that. Alden Ehrenreich as Han Solo. I thought it was good, but I think, you know, following Harrison Ford was always going to be an impossible task. That's like giving someone the task of playing Indiana Jones. They're always going to get hate. But I thought he did a very good job. Donald Glover, for me, though, was the highlight. He was, you know, superb as Lando. And I knew he was going to be good, but I was not prepared for how good he was. You know, everything about him resembled Lando for me. Really nice. I thought the little Easter egg at the end was cool as well. I think the sort of the colours of the film it's a very bland looking movie, and I don't really know what happened there. I don't know why it's not more colourful, like the posters and everything all orange. It's so bright, all the posters. That's one of the brightest Star Wars posters we've ever had. And the movie was very dark. I mean, I guess it was quite a dark film in comparison to, you know, The Rise of Skywalker or The Last Jedi. Yeah, you know, had some quite gruesome scenes, and yeah, I really like that element of the movie. It's not the perfect Star Wars film. It's got its flaws, but I do really enjoy it. I loved the ending. Was it needed? No. But did I enjoy it? Yes.
At number 6, we've got Revenge of the Sith. Yes, of course this is the best prequel film. Of course it is. For obvious reasons. I mean, this is the turn of when you go from Anakin Skywalker to Darth Vader. I mean, the whole film is, you know, Order 66. It's iconic. It's fantastic. The zooms, though, there are a few problems with the movie, of course. There's always like a recurring zoom like this, always happening, which kind of gets a bit repetitive and a bit annoying. It's not a perfect movie by any means at all, but it's good, and I always enjoy watching the movie when I get a chance.
Number 6, we do have the movie that kicked off Disney's Star Wars vision, and that is The Force Awakens. Now, funnily enough, the first scene in this film is my favourite scene in the whole sequel trilogy, and, you know, it was a perfect start to this new trilogy. We got to see our new villain, and he was just as good as Darth Vader in the first scene. He was amazing, he was brutal, he was scary, and obviously his character quite, you know, deteriorated from that scene. Still, he had a very interesting arc over the whole trilogy, but really didn't, you know, really sad that he, you know, went from really badass, slaying people, to just snogging Rey. Really didn't like that. But yeah, it's a great movie, complete rehash of A New Hope, but I still think J.J. Abrams introduced some really cool things, some new characters, some nice new ships. Also, I think Finn's, you know, storyline was very interesting. The only thing that really bugs me about this movie is Rey being in Mary Sue at the end, you know, sort of giving Kylo Ren a fight with no training, and Kylo Ren having years under his belt, being trained by Luke Skywalker, and he can't even defeat Rey. I thought that was ridiculous, but yeah, it's a really enjoyable movie, and honestly, the perfect start to the new trilogy.
Number 5, we're in the top 5 now. These films are fantastic. Of course, at number 5, we've got Return of the Jedi, and people do criticise this movie for kind of turning a bit kiddie with the Ewoks, but I don't mind it. I mean, it's good. I think the best part of the movie is definitely the throne room scene with the Emperor, Vader and Luke, the music, all the emotions bubbling up are fantastic. I do think they spend a bit too long on Tatooine, but the final space battle, this was made in the 80s. The special effects are fantastic. And there's just the final space battle, so awesome. And another reason we're going on to Rogue One as well. Rogue One is very reminiscent of that final space battle in Return of the Jedi.
At number 5, we've got a big shock here. And please don't give me hate for this, but at number 5, we've got A New Hope. Is this movie incredible? It is. This movie is out of this world amazing. I absolutely love it with all of my heart. It kick-started the whole Star Wars thing. And the creativity is there, all the performances are great, the special effects are great considering when it was released. Absolutely adore this film. There's really not much I can flaw with it. But I'm not as invested into the story of this one as I am in Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. I don't feel like I'm as connected to the characters. I feel like there are a few very minor flaws, but nothing major. It's a great movie. It shows off, you know, George Lucas's creativity. Loved Luke, loved Leia, love Han Solo in this movie, love Chewbacca, love everything. It's such a great movie. and was the perfect start to the Star Wars franchise.
Yes, we're at number 4 now with Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. This is for some reason my dad's favourite Star Wars movie, and it is very good even though it's hollow on the characters, which I don't mind because, spoiler alert, I loved it when they all died at the end, and it's such an awesome, it's definitely one of the best Disney movies to come out of Star Wars, because it is, you know, everyone really likes it. It's, you know, a rebellious story, it's gritty, and it kind of shows the rebels not being as good. I mean, you've got an assassin of Cassian Andor, and you cannot like the awesome bit at the end with Darth Vader getting the plans, and it beautifully follows on to A New Hope. In fact, when I was watching the films ready for Rise of Skywalker, I watched this film, and then as soon as I watched that, I watched A New Hope, and it really smoothly transitions, so that's, again, really good story stuff.
At number 4, we probably have the biggest shock in the list, probably more so than A New Hope, and I put this above New Hope. I'm probably going to get hate for that, but I don't care, Revenge of the Sith. Now, I posted a review on Letterboxd for this, basically saying how surprised I was at the movie. I talked about it in my Talking Star Wars episode last weekend, and I still can't go over the fact about how much I enjoyed the movie, and about, you know, how weird it was that I remember not loving it. I remember liking it, but then I watched it with my dad, obviously watching the prequels again, and I absolutely adored the movie. It has those dialogue problems with the prequels. It also has some cringy moments between Anakin and Padme, but I did find that relationship more bearable in this movie. Obviously, in Attack of the Clones, it was terrible. But yeah, it was handled pretty well, in the romance in this movie was handled pretty well, and it was kind of put, you know, to a minimum rather than going all out, having, you know, big scenes dedicated to that. But you can't deny there are some of the best Star Wars scenes ever in this movie. I honestly do think this Anakin's betrayal scene is in my top 3 Star Wars scenes. The score from John Williams is my favourite Star Wars score. It's still Anakin's betrayal, Anakin vs Obi-Wan. You know, it's a brutal movie. I mean, you see snippets of Anakin, you know, slaughtering younglings, which was absolutely horrible. It's a great film. Hayden Christensen was honestly, you know, perfect in this movie, and I can't imagine anyone else playing Anakin Skywalker. He wasn't good in Attack of the Clones. He was very plastic in that one, as I've already said, but in this one, he was amazing. Really, really, really great Star Wars movie. Such a big surprise. How it ties into the other Star Wars films was amazing. How Darth Vader is born, the Battle of Mustafar, how Palpatine was born was amazing, and it's such a great Star Wars movie, and it definitely deserves being at number 4 on my list.
Number 3 now, we've actually got, yes, The Last Jedi. I'm sure many people will be cheering, or they will either be loading up their guns to come and kill me, because, yes, I actually enjoyed The Last Jedi, despite its flaws of, you know, there are a few things. The bit with Leia in the space, but there's awesome things in this. I mean, when Snoke dies, and then the action bit, and then the bit where she flies through, and I have watched videos, yes, I watched all the criticisms. Oh, why don't they just do the light speed thing in A New Hope? It defeats the whole lore of everything. And I get that, and some people actually hate this film with a passion. I actually hate Rise of Skywalker with a passion, so it's kind of like people who liked this movie dislike Rise of Skywalker, maybe vice versa. But yeah, I really like Rian Johnson. He's a fantastic director. If you haven't seen Knives Out, watch it, because that's another movie of his, and Looper. He's a really great director, and I actually kind of like his style of subverting expectations, because it's an experience. Films are an experience, and when your expectations keep on being subverted, I usually think that in a positive way. Some people think, no, I wanted this, I'm a fan, but I actually enjoy having my expectations subverted, because it gives me something I wasn't expecting but actually wanted.
At number 3, we do have Return of the Jedi, the finale to the original trilogy. Now, I know a lot of people, you know, regard this as being the worst in the original trilogy, and I can see why. I think, you know, the Ewoks were a mistake, maybe, but do I really enjoy them? Yes, I love the Ewoks. They are so cute. Probably not as cute as Baby Yoda, but still very cute. I thought the whole Endor thing was the real flaw of the film, and I think, you know, we cared kind of less about the Endor battle, and we cared more about the battle in the air towards the end, but I still really enjoyed the Endor battle. But yeah, it's a perfect end. I think, as I said in my previous Star Wars ranking, the other flaw I have the movie is just sort of how the Luke and Leia thing was handled. How they basically kept telling that they were brother and sister from Han towards the end of the movie. I thought that was another flaw. But everything else is amazing. The duels, or sort of the duel between, you know, Luke and Darth Vader, and then obviously Palpatine, Darth Vader, Luke. That whole scene was amazing. Really great into the original trilogy. Love the movie, love the score. This is also another one of my favourite Star Wars scores. It features some of the best scenes in Star Wars history. And honestly, the perfect end to the Star Wars original trilogy. It was never going to be perfect. There were always going to be flaws. You know, it's one of the best trilogies ever. And, you know, the Godfather movies still have flaws. I mean, maybe not number 1 and number 2, but number 3 does. So, yeah. Great into the trilogy. Really, really, really love this movie.
At number 2, we have the classic 1979 A New Hope. This was the first Star Wars movie, and it's got the word iconic written all over it. And that isn't just why I love the movie, because of course it wasn't iconic when it first came out. The film kind of revolutionised the sci-fi action genre. The special effects are outstanding. And you can really see why it's a classic, and it's a 5 out of 5 film for me, just because of how brilliant they master this plot and the way everything's staged, and, you know, with Grand Moff Tarkin and Vader and things. And I just wish I was an audience member in 1979 watching this film, because, I mean, it would have been awesome.
Number 2, we do have the best thing that has came out of Disney, and that is Rogue One. I honestly probably think this is better than The Mandalorian, and that's saying a lot. Rogue One was just damn right phenomenal. The final 5 minutes is honestly probably my favourite Star Wars scene ever. You see Darth Vader being absolutely brutal and absolutely brilliant. Great to hear James Earl Jones' voice again as Darth Vader. It's such a great movie. The characters were disposable, and I can agree that the characters maybe were a bit weak, but I thought they were all handled perfectly. I think you also see the dark side of the rebellion in this movie, and that's never been done before. You see Cassian Andor murdering innocent people, and he is part of the Rebel Alliance, and he's quite high up as well. So it does portray very well how, you know, the Empire obviously is far from perfect, but the Rebel Alliance isn't perfect as well. But yeah, really, really great movie. Really great scene set out. It ties in perfectly into A New Hope. I thought that was absolutely amazing. The CGI on Tarkin and Leia is controversial, but I guess it had to be done. I loved Krennic. He was really, really, really cool. I'm actually building his shuttle as we speak in Lego. So yeah, that's really cool. So yeah, great movie. Really love Rogue One. It's easily my second favourite Star Wars movie.
At number 1, I really would kill to be an audience member when The Empire Strikes Back came out, because this is it's a masterpiece. It's one of my favourite films of all time, and no Star Wars movie ever will be able to be as good as this film. John Williams, he's a master of music, and in this film has honestly maybe the best soundtrack ever conducted by anyone. You have got the Cloud City theme, Yoda's theme, the Imperial March. Every single track of this film is awesome. The asteroid field, I even did a review on this ages ago. It's not very good, but it's actually where I'm humming the theme tunes because it's so good. The emotions, every time I watch it, I'm getting goosebumps now just talking about this film. If it isn't your favourite Star Wars movie, I feel sorry for you, because you're missing out on just a fantastic, brilliant, perfect, excellent film.
Coming in at number 1, we do have The Empire Strikes Back. I'm pretty sure this is mostly everyone's favourite Star Wars movie. It certainly is mine. It's just the perfect film. I think every other Star Wars movie, you know, Rogue One, all the other best ones have flaws. This one just doesn't. It's not got anything that I can pinpoint saying this can be improved. And it's so great to see George Lucas, you know, go all out. His vision was achieved in this movie. It's just an incredible film. You've seen Darth Vader, Palpatine, Luke. Amazing movie. I loved everything about it. Literally everything. This is why I love Star Wars, this movie. Every time I watch, I get chills. I talk about it, I get chills. It's such a great film. It's so perfect. Great score from John Williams, as is in literally every Star Wars movie. Even in Attack of the Clones and Rise of Skywalker, John Williams gives us great music. The Empire Strikes Back is such a great film. I could talk about it for years and just not give one flaw, because it honestly doesn't have any. There probably are some minor flaws, but I don't even want to know what they are, since I just love the movie so much. Yeah, that is why Empire Strikes Back is my favourite Star Wars movie. It's such a great film, and it will always be one of my favourite movies of all time. So thank you all for watching. I hope you're all staying safe during this tough time, maybe watching movies, whatever. Just doing whatever you can to try and take your mind off it, because it is really hard. But, you know, movies are a great way to escape it. Thanks for watching, and thank you also to the filmmaker for this opportunity. I've really enjoyed doing it, and really hope we can do this again in the future, maybe another ranking or something like that. So thanks for watching everyone, stay safe, and I will see you in the next video.
I think I've said everything I need to say about this. I'm sure you're getting tired of me just praising every Star Wars movie, but also kind of trying to bring in a few flaws here. Some people like to think of it as the perfect franchise, and it isn't. It's got many different, sequel trilogies kind of like that at the moment, with the fans and with the lore and with the mythology of Star Wars. But anyway, thank you so much for watching this. Remember to subscribe to Blu View. Thank you so much for doing this, and as always, I will see you again in the next video. Bye.